Morning. It's Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. It is Sunday morning, one of my most inspirational days of the week. This time of the year, not so inspirational. It's been gray for a while, and it's cold. And I didn't do anything in the greenhouse this winter. Probably wondering why. It's because I have to pick my battles. And I was doing some work in the house, to kind of renovate a room or two. So I decided not to do anything in here because I don't want to spread myself out. But this is a good place for me to come and actually put my hands in the dirt and make me think that spring is coming. It is coming. I can look in the garden, I can see. It's here, it's just not time yet. So timing is everything, right? All right, well, recently I've been talking about food freedom. I did the Rogue Food Conference, and it went off really well. I came home exuberated, and a lot of other people have really gotten the message. And we've talked to quite a few people since then. And the message is food freedom. And the conference was called the Rogue Food Conference. So question is, who's going rogue here? Is it the farmers going rogue? Or have we got a government that's gone rogue? That's the question of the hour, in my opinion. Never fails. So something happened this weekend that really got under my skin. And I go right back to food freedom and what food freedom means to me and what it means in general. Food freedom is the freedom that's given to us by our Creator to steward, right, this creation that we have. I don't think this is an accident here. If we do things the right way, we get good produce. If we do it the wrong way, we get bad produce. If we take care of our animals the right way, husbandry, we get good, healthy animals that propagate and everything else. But if we don't, we get unhealthy animals that don't propagate, right? So there's a right way and a wrong way, and there's shades of both, I think, So we have to try and go with nature and make things work better. If we go against nature, we wind up in a train wreck. We wind up with a system that isn't resilient. That you're more likely to have a pest problem or an erosion problem or a sickness problem, disease problem, whatever. So our way of doing things, it seems to be in line with our Creator. We're kind of working for him, sort of like Adam in the Garden of Eden, taking care of this creation. And oh, by the way, it makes produce for us to eat, to keep ourselves alive, and we can sell some of it so we can make our bills, so we can pay our way in life, right? But lately we've had this situation where certain entities, and I keep going back to the Department of Agriculture, but there's a couple other perpetrators that are really bad. Townships, not my township, but some townships here in Michigan have been really tough on people. And Department of Ag, Department of Natural Resources, and so on. There's a couple others in there, but, I'll just leave that out for now. But the Department of Ag is the biggest one. So let's first identify these people. They got 508 employees, and their budget is $110 million a year. And that was 2019 numbers, okay? $110 million per year for 500 employees. Okay, so that's who we're dealing with. Because I think sometimes you think that they're like huge, massive. They're not that big. When I read their mission statement, it does not line up with what they do. So we try to figure out what they do. If I tell you that they're just anti-agriculture, you're going to be like, well, that can't be. That can't be. That's kind of a stretch. Their policies work against agriculture the way we do it. They really do. And so I think they are anti-agriculture. But this incident that happened this weekend, I won't use any names. I don't need to. really irritated me. Here's what happened. There's a farm that's, within shooting distance from here. If you got a howitzer, probably have to pick the shell up and shoot it twice. And they got a visit last week from 2 inspectors, food inspectors. I have their names, and I may disclose them. I don't know. Maybe we won't, but maybe we will. But they showed up, and the mother got little kids she's taken care of. They have a farm. They're trying to make a living, Imagine that, trying to make a living. And part of what they do is farm. And you usually grow more pigs than you need. You get some of them slaughtered at local butcher shop, and then you sell some of it, right? People give you money for it. You pay your electric bill with it. Imagine that. But Department of Ag sees that and says, "Whoa, wait a friggin' minute. What are you doing?" So the family gets visited. The husband's at work, and she handled it very well, did not let them in the house, and spoke with them. And, they asked a lot of questions, and she tried not to give them anything. I wouldn't have spoken with them at all. You're not required to talk to these weenies. You're not required to talk to anybody, really. They can't make you. The Fifth Amendment says you can't be compelled to give testimony against yourself, right? Or your husband or wife, too, for that matter. So I would have just told them, no thanks, go away. But they tipped their hand pretty well. They said, there's been an anonymous complaint to the Michigan Department of Agriculture. One of them was a food inspector, one was a food and dairy inspector. Anonymous complaint. So somebody complained about them selling pork and then selling raw milk. So somebody complained. An anonymous person. Our countryside is full of people that really get bugged when you sell a pork chop or you sell, a glass of milk or a gallon of milk, whatever. Now, there's not a lot of money in this. I'm here to tell you. There's not a lot of money. So why did it generate a state car and 2 state employees to go to this person's house, knock on the door, and conversate with them for a while? What compelled that? Food safety? Oh, they're concerned with the person that you might sell a pork chop to because they want to provide oversight. They want to check it and make sure that it's a good pork chop, right? No. They just really want to tell you, you can't do it. And I've thought like that for a long time. Like they just want to prevent you from earning dollars to pay your way. I think they'd rather have you go on like welfare or something, and these people, who knows, maybe they could, but they don't want to do that. They're able-bodied, tough people that are going to survive by hook or by crook. But this did upset them. So these 2 women come to their house and really spoiled their day, because now they got to be like, now what do we do? And so things are kind of still up in the air right now, but last night I kind of had this revelation, and all of a sudden it just made total sense to me what they do. Townships do this too. This is what happened to Hidden Creek Farm down in Dalton Township. They surprise you. They show up on your doorstep, and they start asking questions, right? Now, I'll talk about how to deal with them maybe in another video. But the questions that they ask you, if you answer them the way they'd like you to, you've just incriminated yourself per their rules. Right? Now, what are your rules? Fifth Amendment to the Constitution says your life, liberty, and property. Well, that's protected under due process of law. These 2 people showing up asking you questions, that ain't due process of law. Have you violated a law or one of their rules? I think it's more like you've violated one of their rules, and they don't like that. So what is their goal? What is their goal? So they've come to this person's house, scared them, scared their children, scared mom. worried them. They're starting to talk about, well, should we get a lawyer? You know, people know what the state is capable of when it comes to farmers. And my phone's getting cold again. I may have to, I'll try it like this. I'll put my hand behind it. Nah, ain't gonna work. I'm gonna finish here and pick it up.